must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
For joining us today. My name is Miriam Gotu. The show is Good Morning Africa, where we bring you the latest from the continent of Africa, with a special attention on the latest news from Kenya as we go through the three leading newspapers, the Standard newspaper, the Daily Nation, and the Star. And so thank you for being with us. Good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're tuned in today. So I'll just take us through quickly the headlines, and then we'll start our conversation from there. And the Star newspaper, the main headline focus on Tuju Murathe as party revamp looms. President endorsed sweeping changes during meeting with Kieleweke. So the story is on page 2 of the Star newspaper, and up there says rebuilding Nyoro, we've stopped graft, mismanagement of Kiambu County. That is the governor that replaced the former governor Waititu, who's still facing corruption charges in the court, and so he's giving. I think he's saying what he's been able to do. It is an exclusive story on page 8 and 9 of the Star newspaper. And then mother of murdered brother says only justice can end her grief as we wait for that to happen. And Raila takes first step in climbing Mount Kenya. ODM leader Raila Odinga on Sunday took his unity campaigns to Mount Kenya as he intensifies efforts to claw back Deputy President William Ruto's perceived dominance of the region. So that is what we have on the front page of the Star newspaper. And then we turn our attention to the Daily Nation, and the main headline, Raila's big promise for Mount Kenya votes. Pre-election pledges with Bible in hand. ODM leader Raila Odinga declares he's open to dialogue in defining the best contest partnership for Mount Kenya region, igniting speculation that he may be considering picking a running mate from the area. The story is on page 5 of the Daily Nation. And then just down there, as Mudavadi was region with economic blueprint. So also yesterday, or over the weekend rather, Musalia Mudavadi, the leader of ANC, was in Kiambu County as well in a church at Githunguri. And then just beside that, riddle of dry taps in city suburbs, and costly decisions plunge Kenya Power into laws, and route of security drama heads to Parliament. Deputy President's allies demand the summoning of top civil servants to explain the changes. The story is on page 4 of the Daily Nation, and we will look at that just in a moment. And then we look at the Standard newspaper. The main headline, it's now or never for Big Three. After 10 years in the political cold, next year's poll offers Raila, Kalonzo and Mudavadi the best chance to ascend to the top seat. Failure to each will consign them to another long spell in the opposition. The story is on page 4, 5, 6 and 8 of the Standard newspaper. The silver lining for learners with difficulties, that is a special feature on the landing pages of the Standard on page 14 and 16, and politics, what's Joho up to, and costly power on the way. They've been on the business page on page 34. Those are things I don't want to hear as a Kenyan. I don't want costly power. That's enough, whatever we're paying for right now. And then you go to the Daily Nation, and they've been carrying out a story about why even power is costly in Kenya. A lot of it is due to corruption that is going on in that parastatal. So that is not good news for me particularly, but hey, let's see how that will work out for us here. And I think that's what you have on the front page of the Standard newspaper, and I think yesterday there was an interview of Jimmy Wanjigi, who seeks to run for the presidency in one of the television stations. Unfortunately, I didn't sit to watch it, and so I really don't know what they talked about. But yeah, I think he's putting himself up for election next year, hopefully with the hopes that Kenyans will see him fit to lead them in after next year's election. So to kick off this conversation, I'm joined by Douglas Kirimi, all the way from Meru County. Douglas, a very good morning to you. Okay, we're joined by Jevan Karanja. Karanja, good morning.
Yes, good morning, Miriam, and good morning to our viewers. And Douglas Kirimi, thanks for having me on the show.
Nice to have you, but I'm being requested if we could see your faces, that will be much better, please, if you can do that. If not, then that will be a problem. Douglas, good morning.
A very good morning to you, Miriam Ogutu, and also to my friend Jevan Karanja, to our crew at Awendi Quarters, and also to our friends across the world. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where they're watching us from. Thank you for having me on the show, Miriam.
Okay, thank you. So let's just start with the main headline on the Daily Nation. On page 5 of the Daily Nation, Raila is really determined to climb Mount Kenya, as he likes to say, and ODM leader Raila Odinga has big promises for the estimated 8 million voters in the Mount Kenya region. With a Bible in his hand and kneeling down, Mr. Odinga yesterday read Jeremiah 29:11 to a church congregation in Muranga. For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you, not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. If elected president in next year's election, the Orange Democratic Movement leader said he would address the plight of Mount Kenya farmers by prioritizing value addition to improve earnings of their harvest. He would also seek to diffuse the ticking youth time bomb by setting up the income-generating projects for the unemployed youth. Mr. Odinga has several times attempted but failed to win over the hearts of Mount Kenya voters, winning only a handful of votes from the region in his failed past presidential bids. Douglas.
Miriam, a time has come for us to be able to vote for Raila Odinga and also embrace him as a politician. Because, Miriam, if we can be able to embrace people like William Ruto, who was brought by President Kenyatta, why would we as a region not embrace the right honorable priority for the people in Mount Kenya to return to the right honorable Odinga and listen to the ambitions that he has for this country? Raila is also a Kenyan, and Raila is one of the formidable politicians that we have ever had in this country. There is nothing wrong that Raila Odinga has ever done to the Mount Kenya populace and also the Mount Kenya people. It is about time, Miriam, that we embrace Odinga as an individual for his own presidential ambition without listening to what people have been telling us about Raila. These are the same people who benefit from Raila tonight. These are the same people who have been taken to school by the right honorable Raila Odinga. It's about time the ordinary peoples of Mount Kenya, the ordinary peoples of Kenya, listen to the Raila Odinga manifesto for this country. This is a man that loves this country dearly. This is a man that is going to take this country forward if given an opportunity. If we can listen to the Deputy President William Ruto, a man that was accused of sending the people of Mount Kenya to an early grave in 2007 and 2008, we can listen to Raila, who has done nothing to us, rather than having an ambition against President Uhuru Kenyatta, against the Kikuyus like President Kibaki, and Noah and Sendri. Miriam, there is nothing wrong that Raila has done to the people of Mount Kenya. It's about time he walks to the villages, he walks to churches, he walks to everywhere. There is a gathering of the people, the peoples of the mountain. And it's about time the people of Kenya listen to Raila Odinga, and I believe the Right Honorable Raila Odinga stands a chance to run for presidency. If a man that has been accused of sending the people of Mount Kenya to another grave is embraced by the same people, Raila, who has done nothing to us over the years, the only problem, the only issue that the people of Mount Kenya have had with Raila is that Raila has an ambition when their sons were running for presidency, President Uhuru Kenyatta, President Kibaki, and Owen Sendri. It's about time Raila comes to every village, every church in Mount Kenya, so that he can be able to sell his agenda just like the others. There is nothing wrong with Raila coming to the mountain and trying to climb the mountain. It's about time, Miriam. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And his longtime political ally, industrialist Samuel Kamau, also known as SK Macharia, however, warned him that the mountain region ground is still very rocky for him in reference to his perceived low popularity among others. And this is what he's quoted to have said. Do not feed him, Odinga, with a lie that the ground is all that good. I owe media houses that inform me on timely positions on the ground. If the vote was to be called today, those in Mount Kenya who have been demeaning and belittling you, who even include our president, would take it. If you have to win, you have to move with speed to reverse that reality. Javan, someone needs, those kind of friends who tell you as it is. But is Mr. SK Macharia right? That assertion. Karanja.
Yes, thank you very much. I'm still working on my network, but I can make my contribution
go ahead. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I think from the events that we are seeing, the former Prime Minister, His Excellency Raila Amolo Odinga, is prepared and is ready to bite the bullet and to ensure that he comes to Mount Kenya and get some substantial votes that will take him to State House. And last Friday, he was on all Kikuyu and Gema radio stations and televisions, and he spoke to the people of the mountain. And he said that he is a Muthoniwa. That means that he is one of us because his two sons have married from this region. Therefore, he says that anything that affects Mount Kenya region also affects him as a person. And he had a lot to say, and he said that even the developmental agenda that President Uhuru Kenyatta is fulfilling today in Mount Kenya region, this was his brainchild ideas. And especially when you talk of the expansion of the Keno Marua superhighway, when you talk of Mau Mau Road, when you talk of other major roads that we have in the region, former Prime Minister came out candidly that he was the one who pioneered, who authored those kind of ideas. He also said that he is the one who came up with the Thika Superhighway, and he ensured that it comes to this region. Therefore, there's a lot that he has done to the people of Mount Kenya region, and that is what he was saying on that interview. And yesterday, I was pleased to see him in Muranga, and he could see the masses, and these were not mobilized. These were not paid crowds, but this was an organic, indigenous crowd that just came to see what Baba had to say, and you could see the excitement. And that is what we want as a country, where all political aspirants can go to any region in this country and sell their agenda without being chased away, without any kind of chaos occurring in the events. That is the Kenya we want, where all of us will be given an equal opportunity. Therefore, as Raila Odinga has been saying, under the slogan that he is using now, itawezekana, I can assure him and the rest of Mount Kenya and the rest of Kenyans and our viewers that if he continues to come to Mount Kenya region and he remains, he keeps his eyes on the ball, he will get some votes. And Miriam, the fact is, Raila Odinga does not need all Mount Kenya votes. He doesn't need even a 50%. 40% is enough for him. Therefore, it is an easy task, but he needs to keep on persisting and having the right people to sell his agenda, because it is also determined by the group of the team that will form to come to the mountain. But most important, he need to come in person. He need to come as an individual so that people can see him, so that he can talk to people without going through the political brokers who can, in one way or the other, deceive him. But what SK Macharia said are good words, because these challenges are the ones that keep us moving. Therefore, Raila Odinga and the team which supported the former Prime Minister should take the words of SK Macharia with the weight that it deserves. Because if we keep lying to him that the ground is well, then he might relax. But if we tell him things are not good, that means that he'll increase the momentum and he'll keep pushing even harder. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And Mount Kenya has become very attractive to many political hopefuls, and we saw even over the weekend, Musalia Mudavadi was there, J.B. Wanjigi was also there trying to woo voters from that vote-rich region. Samuel, I wish a very good morning to you, and nice. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Good morning to you, Miriam Ogutu, my colleague panelist Douglas Bonde Kirimi, and of course, Javan Karanja, every viewer who is watching this program in Africa and the rest of the world. Good morning to you.
All right, thank you so much. So the conversation we're having is that visit and the church service and, the speech Raila made yesterday while in Githunguri, and after, quoting Jeremiah 29:11, I know the plans I have for you, which I think is very corny, but he's saying, I have good things. Should I be elected as a leader, I'll have you in mind and have nothing but good things and thoughts for the people of Mount Kenya. And his long-term friend, industrialist S.K. Macharia, however, warned him that the mountain region ground is still very rocky for him, in reference to his perceived low popularity among the voters. Do not feed him with a lie that the ground is all that good, he said. I own media houses that inform me on timely positions on the ground. If the vote was to be called today, those in Mount Kenya who have been demeaning and belittling you, who even include our president, will take it. If you have to win, you have to move with speed to reverse the reality. So he said, as much as you're here and you've started your campaign, but it's not rosy. So let nobody cheat you that it's easy. Tawish.
Thank you, Miriam, for that question. And I think it's a very good conversation we are having in as far as political jostling is concerned in the country. But again, Miriam, you understand that no politician should sit pretty and wait to be given the presidency or any political seat on a silver platter, Miriam. They have to go out there and endear themselves, the voters, try to sell their agenda and manifestos, and try to woo voters to their side. So basically, I think that is what former Prime Minister and ODM leader Raila Odinga is doing in as far as 2022 contest is concerned. And looking on to the sentiments that SK Macharia did make yesterday, it is actually true because Raila Odinga, the ground has not been that good for him. The ground has somehow been hostile for him, especially in the Mount Kenya region. And not because it's natural that the people of Mount Kenya really hate former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, but they have been made to believe that the problems begin and end with Raila Odinga. That the political challenges that they've been going through in this country begin and end with Raila Odinga. The politicians, especially from that particular region, most of them have been using Raila Odinga's name as a pedestal to really get into elective position. Because again, they know when you mention the name of Raila Odinga or when you campaign Raila Odinga, then you endear yourself to the people of Mount Kenya. But I think the tide is changing, things are changing, the times are changing. Raila Odinga continually now is getting a bit of some support from Mount Kenya. And as time goes by, he needs to actually explain to the people of Mount Kenya who the person Raila Odinga is and what is it that he intends to do for the people of Mount Kenya. By the end of the day, the people of Mount Kenya and the larger Kenyan community will be in a position to make a decision as to whether he is the right person really to succeed and take over from President Uhuru Kenyatta. But as it is, I think it is right for him to continually make inroads, to sell himself to the people of Mount Kenya, to try and talk to them. You remember last time the Muranga meeting that was held at SK Macharia's place. I mean, he was given a challenge that you need to come out, go to churches, go to schools, go and visit interest groups and see what you can do and how you can talk to the people of Mount Kenya. If they have any grievances, the ordinary people have any grievances for that they need Raila Odinga or Raila Odinga's presidency to actually address, assuming he becomes president come 2022 general election. So I think this is an opportunity for him to explain to the people of Mount Kenya and the larger Kenyan community of what plans he has to move this country forward, Miriam.
Okay, very well said. Thank you. And that is that. Let's turn our attention to another story, still political. It's a Monday, so that's all we have, because usually it's a busy weekend here as we head on to elections. All the weekends are, very busy with the political engagements from our politicians. So on page 4 of the Daily Nation, Ruto security details saga heads to Senate. DP downplays changes. Deputy President William Ruto security details saga is heading to Parliament, with his allies demanding the summoning of top civil servants to explain the changes. This comes as the DP continues to downplay the changes, saying he has no problem being guarded by administration police officers, and they can even bring the G4S, a private security company. He's quoted as saying the government last week withdrew General Service Unit GSU officers guarding his offices and properties. Dr. Ruto is entitled to security from the same elite guards as President Uhuru Kenyatta. MPs allied to the DP want the National Assembly and Senate to summon Head of Public Service Joseph Kinyua, Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i, Inspector General of Police Hilary Mutyambai, as well as the GSU commander, to explain the downgrading of the DP's security. Douglas Kibini, your reaction to that story?
Miriam, I've said before, and I will continually take the same stand. Deputy President William Ruto stopped working for the people of Kenya, stopped working for the service and industry that is his office. And also, Miriam, when you look at it, William Ruto has been trying to provoke people in government and also Kenyans, ordinary people, insulting our intelligence so that, Miriam, he can be able to gain sympathy votes across this nation. But at the end of the day, we need to look at it as it is. Dr. William Ruto stopped working for Kenya, abdicated the duty, and started running for his own political ambitions, except for the political aspect of his, the political aspect that the designation that he is the deputy president. He does not work, except that when he mentions it himself, he actually forces the people of Kenya to keep acknowledging that he is the deputy president of the Republic of Kenya. But at the end of the day, as it is today, William Ruto continues working for his own William Ruto Presidential Campaign Organization, but it does not work or represent the peoples, the ordinary peoples of the Republic of Kenya. It does not work for the government of Kenya, that he continues drawing security from, that he continues using its budget allocated for his own office so that he can be able to carry his constitutional mandate as an helper or as a principal assistant to the president, according to the constitution. He continues, Miriam, masquerading around as a presidential aspirant under UDA, who wants government protection, government food, government accommodation, and who continues using government machinery to continue advancing his own presidential ambitions. Miriam, except for that aspect that he is the designated deputy president in this country, William Ruto stopped a long time ago the business that is government of Kenya, including pushing for agenda or policies that are being pursued by the government. He criticizes the same. BBI was a panacea to our problems as a country, electoral malpractices or problems that we have that have engulfed our country in recent past and also in the far past. But William Ruto has even disassociated himself with the projects that have been done by the government. But he continues drawing attention and continues drawing sympathy and also continues milking mileage from the same projects when it is convenient for him to do so, especially when he is dealing with the famous Mount Kenya, 11 Mount Kenya counties. But when he's in other places, he tells people, you've been marginalized by this government does nothing for you, and all that. Miriam, if this man continues working for his own William Ruto Presidential Campaign Organization, it is only prudent for him to resign from government, for his allies to resign from government and call for a by-election in their various places, constituencies and counties, senators and governors. But at the end of the day, Miriam, we need to tell William Ruto the truth, that the industry and service that he's supposed to be offering to the people of Kenya as a deputy president, he stopped and today is an employee of William Ruto Presidential Campaign Organization under the UDA ticket, which is the party leader. And at the end of the day, Miriam, as the people of Kenya, we do not owe this man security, we do not owe him accommodation. And remember the allocation that has been sent to his office, he continues offering snacks and tea and allowances to pastors who continue praying for him to become president, pastors who are irresponsible, who continue praying for ambitions of a man who is also sitting on a 9-year social contract from the people of Kenya that was renewed in 2017. Who are these people who continue meeting and lying to him at current to receive government taxes and also government taxpayers' money, government allowances, and continue lying to him he'll become president when he is working for William Ruto Presidential Campaign Organization? This is the highest political conmanship that we have ever experienced in our history as a country, and this is hybrid political conmanship exhibited by none other than the hypocritical Deputy President William Ruto of the Republic of Kenya. Okay. Miriam, why would we as a country, as I conclude my point, continue funding him to continue hosting grassroots leaders, which we have not even seen visiting the head of state, who is also the president of the Republic of Kenya? The commander-in-chief does not receive grassroots leaders in this country, because this is a time to work, Miriam. This is a time to work. Whoever was elected in 2017, and especially on the case of Deputy President and President Uhuru Kenyatta in 2013, and it was renewed in 2017, they should be working for the service and the industry should be able to benefit the people of Kenya for their welfare and for their good. But for William Ruto, he continues working for William Ruto campaign organization, and we have no qualms and whims until he toes the line and works for the people of Kenya or quits government or bends completely now assumes his role as the head of William Ruto presidential campaign and as their candidate for 2022, Miriam. Thank you.
Very well, thank you so much. Now, the DP's Director of Communication, Emmanuel Talam, said the police boss has not responded to their letter. In the letter to the Inspector General of Police on Thursday, the DP said the new security detail might have been sent to his home with ulterior motives. What is the connection between the withdrawal of the GSU and public statements of persons declaring that Deputy President will not be on the ballot come 2022? Dr. Ruto's Chief of Staff, Ken Osinde, asked if is it the case that suspicious persons in AP uniform have been deployed at the residence with orders to facilitate senator schemes against the Deputy President, which the withdrawn GSU refused to implement? The National Police Service, however, say the replacement of the GSU officers with AP personnel is a normal reassignment to enhance efficiency. Dr. Ruto continued to downplay the significance of the changes yesterday, and this is what is quoted as saying, "I have no problem with the AP being sent to guard my homes. If the GSU have a job elsewhere, let them do it. They can even bring in the G4S. There is no problem," he said in Bahati Nakuru County. So the DP really has no problem with those changes. So why are his allies taking this war to Parliament, as we've seen at the beginning of that story, Jeben Karanja? Is he really not worried?
Thank you very much, Miriam. If we want to listen to what the Deputy President is saying and where his heart is, we don't listen to the individual of the Deputy President, but we listen to those who surround him. What Emmanuel Talam is saying, what other guys and the likes of Oscar Suda are saying, that is the sentiments of the Deputy President, because he cannot just go out there and utter words that are contrary to what their boss feels or thinks. Therefore, at the end of the day, the Deputy President, in public domain, he might come as a strong man, as a brave man, as a courageous man who is not worried of anything. But inside his heart, because I also saw on the newspaper last weekend when he was saying that his life is in danger, he is a worried man because he has the new team they are not familiar with. These are new guys. He doesn't know who they are, what they do, how they conduct their business. They have been given new assignment. Therefore, the process of bonding with these new people, it will take time. And Miriam, as we are heading to elections, maybe he might be worried. And I think he needs to be protected because that is what the Constitution dictates. Because he is a public servant. He was elected. He is in office. And by the courtesy, not really the deputy, the character of the Deputy President, William Ruto, but the office of the Deputy President. I think it is a big office, though the occupant of the office has really diminished the office, has really done things that are contrary to what the office dictates. But all said and done, even the AP, our police officers, they are trained personnel. They know how to do their job. They have been guarding other members of parliament, CSAs, and so on. Therefore, there's nothing big with Deputy President or nothing to be worried with him having these AP officers, because at the end of the day, what he needs is security. And any of these men in uniform can provide security to any state officer, and that's what they are doing. And if duty calls under maybe this GSU were maybe needed somewhere else in a matter of urgency or emergency, then there was a need to take them there to protect lives of Kenyans, because at the end of the day, all of us need to be protected. And if I'm not wrong, that is what I heard the deputy president saying, that if even these AP officers that you have given to me, if they have other important duties to do in future, then you can take them and bring the G4S. But he is saying that just ironically and sarcastically. But, you know, at the end of the day, all Kenyans need to be protected. But, you know, these people have been telling us that security starts with us. Security, usalama unaanza na wewe. Now I'm worried. Why are these politicians? Why can't they walk the talk and maybe start this usalama with them without really having all these hundreds, if not thousands of security officers manning their premises, manning their families, protecting their loved one and so on. Therefore, at the end of the day, as a country, we also need to do some things, because I don't see why an elected leader need to be worried, because when they're doing the campaign, they don't come with these police officers, but after assuming office, they all get this protection, as if the guys who voted them, they are dangerous people who can maybe harm them. And Miriam, when you see people who are scared of their constituents, who are scared of their electorates, means they have done something that is not well, that is not good to these people who elected them. That is why they must come protected. That is why they must hide somewhere. That is why they makes it difficult to access even their office, because they know the kind of hardship that they have brought to their people. Therefore, as Kenyans, what we need is peace. And as we head to 2022 general election, all people who are involved under the security agencies should ensure that this country is peaceful, whether it means having this, every Kenyan need to be protected, whether it means having these state officers left with the 0 police officers protecting them. Let all Kenyans feel safe in this country. We don't want to see cases of people maybe dying in the name of these elections. Let them do work. And as I've heard Dr. Matiang'i and Dr. Karanja Geficho saying that they will ensure that this period, because we're heading to a very heated campaign period, that all of us will be protected and there will be peace that will prevail before and after the general election. That is our prayer as the people of this country. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. And speaking on that matter, Nandi Senator Samson Cherargei said that the Constitution is clear on the manner in which the President and the Deputy President should be protected, citing an incident in July 2017 when a gunman broke into Dr. Ruto's Sukhoi home in Uasin Gishu County. Mr. Cherargei said replacing the DP security detail with the AP officers exposed him to a lot of danger. So he reminded us of that incident. I don't know what became of that incident, just towards the election last in 2017. And now Senator Kihika Samuel Tawish is calling on the Directorate of Criminal Investigations to summon Central Organization of Trade Union Secretary General Francis Atwoli, following his remarks that Dr. Ruto will not be on the ballot next year. And we've seen, I think, just earlier there when I was reading a piece of that same news, they're using what Kotu Secretary General said, and that the DP will not be on the ballot next year to mean as the change of his security could be in a wider plot, I don't know, to eliminate him so that he's not on the ballot. That's how they are, translating that to mean. What's your take on that, Samuel?
Thank you, Miriam. Sometimes some discussions are very funny, Miriam. In fact, you will not even want to invite yourself into discussing about them. But nonetheless, Miriam, I think it is the prerogative of the security agencies to ensure security not only for the VIPs in this country, but by and large, the ordinary Mwananchi. The safety and security of the people of Kenya is actually bestowed upon the government to ensure that the same is not actually at compromise. But again, looking onto what has happened to Deputy President William Ruto, the withdrawal of the GSU and now having the administration police actually providing security for him, and of course also his residents, it does not really have to invite what I see as a lot of noise making from politicians allied to Deputy President William Ruto, because again, the police know it best how to execute their job. They know what is best in as far as providing security for the VIPs is concerned. In case Deputy President William Ruto is not a security expert, he is not in charge of his own security. His security is being taken care by the government of Kenya through the taxes that the ordinary people really pay to the government of Kenya, so that these security agencies through the GSU and the police, even if it was to be the defense forces who are to be deployed really to oversee the security of the Deputy President or any other VIP in this country, it is not to Deputy President William Ruto to dictate how many security individuals or personnel should be deployed at his place or to guard him, or even any other individual in this country. That responsibility and mandate lies squarely with the National Police Service body. It is not about any other person. So when you see other people who are not security experts, people who have no knowledge on matter security coming out and making noise as to how this should be done, I think this is trying to undermine the work of the Kenya Police Service, Miriam. And also for Susan Kihika, for Deputy President William Ruto and Susan Kihika coming out and saying that if it serves the government of Kenya better, then they should even deploy the G4S to try to man or provide security for Deputy President William Ruto. I think that is trying to mock the work of the Kenya Police Service, which is very unfortunate, coming from a person who is a second in command, a person who should be at the forefront, even giving the morale, bolstering the morale of the the men in uniform. This is very unfortunate, Miriam. So moving forward, what is it that then we can do? We've seen their interventions. They want to summon the security personnel, the head of security personnel in the floor of the House, to try and shed more light about this particular incident and as to why they found it fit really to do that. But again, I do not understand why this William Ruto saga is trying to bring eliciting a lot of emotions, a lot of reaction coming from Tanga allied politicians. I mean, redeployment or scaling down of security personnel who give security to the VIPs in this country has always been happening. I mean, this is not the first thing. This is not the first time, rather. It is not strange. We have seen this happen in the past. It is happening now. It will continue to happen. So I do not understand why they are making a fuss out of it all. This is just by trying to play victim to win sympathy from Kenyans as we head into 2022 general election. It does not have anything to do with William Ruto not having adequate security at his disposal. Miriam, I submit.
All right. And still on politics, I said it's a Monday, so that's all we have for you this morning. Tuju and Murathe in focus as Jubilee revamp looms. That is on page 2 of the Star newspaper. President Uhuru Kenyatta has ceded to demands by some of his allies from Mount Kenya for changes and reforms in the Jubilee Party. Sources told the Star President Kenyatta in a meeting with party diehards at State House Nairobi gave the team 2 weeks to recommend potential successors of Vice Chairman David Murathe and Secretary General Raphael Tuju. The politicians, mostly Kieleweke-leaning MPs and MCAs from Kiambaa constituency and those elected on Jubilee tickets in recent by-elections, pleaded with Uhuru to rid the party of officials who have become a stumbling block for reforms, vibrancy and growth. It is not true that the president defended Hawa Wawili, those two, Murathe and Tuju, as I have seen in a section of media. No, we laid our case against the two, among other problems facing the party. An MP who attended the meeting told the Star on Sunday, the president, who is our party leader, listened to us carefully, and after he told us the party was ours and we are free to make the changes on officials and propose other ways to reposition Jubilee to its former self. So finally, President Uhuru Kenyatta, I think after the by-elections that Jubilee performed dismally, to be honest, might have, advised the president perhaps it is time to change some of these officials, or rather, because there has been a lot of complaints, and maybe it is about time to see how they can revamp a Jubilee Party, and that could mean replacing some of the top officials and a very close ally to President Kenyatta, Mr. Murathe. Are you seeing Murathe going anywhere, Douglas Kirimi?
Thank you, Miriam. And for my former party, the Jubilee Party of Kenya, a dead house, a party that has allowed corruption to creep into its top leadership, a party that cannot even manage a by-election, a party that cannot even allow democratic tendencies to get to the people. They do not allow democratic tendencies to flow to the people. A party that has been run on pure dictatorship, and pure greed. Miriam, I do not understand how a ruling party, a formidable party, the biggest party in Kenya, a monolith party, can allow themselves the shame of receiving even bribes to give out nomination certificates. A party that cannot even hold nominations, leave alone winning a by-election. A party that its president or the party leader is the president of the Republic of Kenya, that has been run down by the Tuju cabal and the Murathe cabal in this country, Miriam. It is about time the president of the Republic of Kenya, who is also the party leader, if he does not feel the dream of Jubilee Party, live it with aspirations that the manifesto of Jubilee Party that they are riding on into power, it's about time they swept that Jubilee House from directors, everyone in Jubilee House, Miriam, including Raphael Tuju, the Secretary General of the party, a man who has killed a minority party of 2016. Today, in 2021, it's a pale shadow of itself, Miriam. It's a party that we love. It's a party that we contributed to its being, from TNA to JAB, now to Jubilee Party of Kenya, that has been deemed even by the ordinary Kenyans to be a dead party. It is about time, if they really want to stand a chance, and maybe cooperate with other parties in future, which is 2022 and beyond. If they want to have a lasting party like ODM, Miriam of 2007, 2013, 17, and today, ODM continues going strong despite being an opposition party, Miriam. If Jubilee Party of Kenya will walk into the future, they need the sweeping changes, and the president need not put on his eyes. If you are a president, being no longer being a member of Jubilee Party top leadership does not disqualify you from being his bosom buddy. If you are an ally of the President of the Republic of Kenya and you have been killing Jubilee Party of Kenya, that does not stop you from being a friend of the President, from an ally of the President. You can support the President in his personal endeavors, but not this party, Miriam. Because at the end of the day, a time has come for us as a country, to hold these political parties to account, Miriam. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. And say for Murathe and Tuju, who have been blamed for the dwindling fortunes of the once vibrant party, Uhuru, the party supremo, endorsed kicking out remnants of Deputy President William Ruto's supporters. Yesterday, Nyeri Town Member of Parliament Mujiri Wambugu confirmed the looming changes. He described the session as cordial, warm and progressive, and said Uhuru endorsed their proposals to revamp an energized Jubilee party. Is Murathe and Tuju the real problem in Jubilee Party, Jeevan? Can they be blamed for everything that has gone wrong in that party? Jeevan. All right, Samuel Tawish. All right, so Douglas, just go ahead. We're having a problem there with the
for you to be able to run as a leader, run a party and run it down, Miriam. It has to go back to the fish starts rotting from its end. For Secretary General and Vice Chairman David Murathe, these are the people who are involved in the day-to-day running of the affairs at the Jubilee House, and it's about time they took responsibility. Whether they are regional directors who are mismanaging, including the by-election that we are having here in Kiamu Ward. The reason why many of us ran away from Jubilee Party of Kenya, not that we hate the president of the party, it is the conduct of Murathe and the company. People who have run the National Management Committee of Jubilee Party with reckless abandon are people that have run this party into disarray, a party that was a very formidable party. It is a shell, a pale shadow of its former self, Miriam. At the end of the day, if directors of Jubilee Party, if the programs manager, if the people who run the secretariat meeting run this party down, it is David Murathe, it is Raphael Tuju, who shall be blamed, because the overall responsibility of Jubilee Party of Kenya lies with the Secretary General, the Raphael Tuju, the Honorable Raphael Tuju, Miriam. At the end of the day, if this party is going to run down, we shall blame David Murathe. Actually, it has already been run down, Miriam, because they cannot even win a single ward seat, Miriam, except for negotiated democracy in northeastern Kenya that is helping them. But a time has come for us, Miriam, to tell the party the truth, because I'm no longer in that party. I can tell them the truth that they can as well cross that party, Miriam, so that others can go and find other parties that are well up, so that they can be able to build other parties, Miriam, and so that the democratic tendencies can be entrenched in these parties. It is too late, Miriam, to save the Jubilee Party of Kenya, including kicking out Murathe and Tuju. They had an opportunity of kicking Murathe out of the party in 2018. They had an opportunity of kicking out Raphael Tuju, the Secretary General, in 2018, and they saved the party. The shame of having a monolithic party that is a pale shadow of its former self, and also make sure, Miriam, they have been able to revamp themselves and they take this country, this party forward. This is no longer a party of the future, Miriam. Even the president itself, they can't win a by-election, Miriam.
Okay.
They do not have the capacity even to manage a by-election. That UDA, a party that is less than 6 months, Miriam,
right,
is managing very well and making sure that, Miriam, they can be able to allow democracy, direct democracy from the people to take course. How do you decide on a fate of a people seated in a vote-room in Nairobi, Miriam? How?
Okay. All right. Douglas Kirimi is not very happy with his former party. Sijui alienda wapi. It's your party now, Safina, I suppose. Now, one of the people who attended that meeting that the president hosted say that Kiambaa taught us that there is a disconnect between the Jubilee Party, the government and its achievements, and Wanjiku. Kiambaa also taught us that there has been a very deliberate investment in lies and propaganda by DP and his allies into this gap to incite the people against the government, the party, and the president, he added. Murang'a women representative Sabina Chege, one of Uhuru's confidants who attended the half-day meeting, said they discussed weighty in-house issues which the public will soon see the fruits. So let's just go up there, Douglas, where I just read that they're taking stock on perhaps the reasons as to why they lost, and it appears Jubilee Party learned its lessons there from the recent losses. And have they been able to diagnose properly? They're saying there is a disconnect, which I think to some extent is very true, between what the government is doing and what the people know to be true, because of the propaganda and the lies that, and the politics around even the developmental agenda of President Uhuru Kenyatta. So are they right in their assertion in that regard?
Miriam, I have no kind words for the people who continue lying that Jubilee Party is a formidable party any longer. Miriam, yourself and myself and others and Dr. David Masanga have always defended the Jubilee Party of Kenya, as showcased what they have done, and these members of parliament have done nothing to show the people of Kenya what the President of the Republic of Kenya has been able to do in regards to development record and all that. William Ruto comes to Mount Kenya, milks mileage from the projects that Uhuru Kenyatta is doing, and we all know that he ran away from government. He stays in a government accommodation in Karen, where he issues press conferences and all that. But at the end of the day, Miriam, when you look at what these leaders from Jubilee Party are saying, they have learned their lessons. They have not learned their lessons. They continue allowing nomination certificates to be sold to the highest bidder. They continue allowing dictatorship to run the party, and they continue even in this rise that they keep writing to the president that they want to revamp the party, Miriam. Some of them, I'm told, they are halfway on their way to Tanga Tanga. The president of the Republic of Kenya should accept the truth of the matter that the ruling party, the Jubilee Party of Kenya, is no longer going to come up the way they wanted to come up, because, Miriam, propping up Jubilee Party is like wiping a dead horse. At the end of the day, we have done all that we could to showcase what the Jubilee administration has done. How many days and how many times has Sabina Chege, Ngunjiri Wambugu, has showcased or even talked about the development record of the President of the Republic of Kenya, except coming up in retreats and going to State House and saying how they are going to be talking about it in radios and all that.
So what you're saying is the party and the government perhaps is not doing enough to make Kenyans aware of what really is happening, except for maybe where these developments are, where people can actually see it, but a lot of people don't really know what the government is doing, which is what I see a lot. Yes.
The only people who are doing something to show what the government is doing are like people like Friends of Jubilee Party. like Punchline Africa and Friends of President Uhuru Kenyatta, who are showing the people and the world what the president is doing. Remember, Miriam, the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation as a segment where even political parties have free space. They can be able to showcase what they have done for free. Even politicians like myself who have been cleared by IBC in a by-election, I have a space at KBC so that they can be able to tell the people of Kenya what I'm going to do, especially those that are demographically placed in Kiabu ward, especially at this point. What I'm saying, Miriam, is that leaders like Sabina Chege, the Jubilee Party of Kenya, we have not seen an advert sponsored by Jubilee Party of Kenya that says, we said that we shall be able to build the standards. And these are 9 standards that we said we shall build. We said we can bring SGR and all that. We have not even seen the government itself tell us this is what we have delivered. It is only Friends of Jubilee Party like Punchline Africa and others who are showing the world what they are doing, Miriam.
All right, very well. Well understood. And every now and then you see some feature stories in the newspapers and all that. But I think the government needs to take that as a challenge from you, Douglas, and the rest of Kenyans who, at least we know because we look for this information, but there are a lot of Kenyans who really don't know how much President Uhuru Kenyatta has been able to achieve, because a lot of times he works in silence. I think he doesn't, he just does what he needs to do for Kenyans. But Kenyans needs to know this is what the government is doing, and this is how whatever is being done will change your lives and things like that. So I think that's a challenge to the government. As we conclude the show this morning on page 5 of the Standard newspaper, ANC leader faults ODM bid to remove Paul Tim. Mani National Congress leader Musalia Mudavadi has condemned ODM's call to disband the electoral body led by Wafula Chebukati a few months to next year's election. Mudavadi told leaders to stop interfering with the work of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission and allow commissioners to focus on delivering a free, fair and credible election. Now, if I wasn't in this country, say the last maybe 5 years, then I would absolutely think Mudavadi is making a lot of sense, and I'm not saying he's not. But the last I checked, when they were in NASA together, this has been a call they've been making for IEBC to be disbanded and for Chebukati to go home. So what has changed for Mudavadi at this point?
Miriam, I've always said that Musalia Mudavadi is not honest, and Musalia Mudavadi is not a leader. A leader takes responsibility even for their own words and actions, Miriam. These are the same people who have told us that Chebukati is not capable of handling another presidential election. A man, a lawyer who does not know where the spoiled votes of presidential votes in 2017 are. A man who does not know his way around the commission, even after spending years at the Electoral Commission in Kenya. A man who has told the people of Kenya that the IBC is technically incapable of delivering a free, credible, and fair election, Miriam. At the end of the day, we need to tell Musalia Mudavadi and the likes who continue lying to the people of Kenya that they want IBC to deliver credible, free, and fair elections in this country, Miriam. It is not going to happen because Chebukati himself has said, Miriam, that they are technically incapable and also they are financially incapable of delivering a proper election in this country, Miriam. When these people tell us an election is going to cost 12 billion shillings, Miriam, and IBC has been allocated 14 billion shillings, Miriam, these are the same people who are broadcasting to ONS telling us the election, free and fair elections, credible elections are going to cost us 40 billion Kenya shillings. They are telling us essentially they have a shortfall of some monies, and what they have in the allocation that has been 2021-2022 is 14 billion shillings, Miriam. This is hypocrisy, and for Musalia Mudavadi, a man that screams that he is going to fix this country's economy. You cannot fix an economy of a dead country, because what we are doing, we are walking into a dead trap. If IPC has been allocated 14 billion, Miriam, and they have said, Chebukati has come out and said, this is a draft that I have, and I have a draft of 40 billion Kenya shillings, Miriam. You are telling us financially you are unprepared. And Chebukati himself has said that they are technically unprepared for a general election in 2022. And that's why I've been saying, Miriam, instead of banning this beautiful country, Chebukati, Please resign and go home. Maybe we can get a man that can be able to utilize 14 billion that we have been able to raise so that we can be able to have free and fair elections. Or if you're not going to resign, Chebukati, please allow this country to postpone elections so that we can be able to technically prepare ourselves and raise enough money. Because the government itself has also said they do not want IBC to be funded directly from foreign capitals. We do not want foreign influence on our elections, including myself, Miriam. Also, Musalia Mudavadi, a man from Ruru village, has nothing sensible to tell the people of Kenya. When you tell us a commission that is technically unprepared, financially unprepared, want a monolith election, 6 elections, MCA, MPs, governors, senators, and president, and governors in single day, and the women left, Miriam. You are telling us essentially you cannot trust IBC and you do not trust your one's own media. Thank you.
All right. Okay, thank you. But Musalia is telling ODM to keep off and they should stop complaining about IBC too much. But I remember just a few months or years ago, Musalia Mudavadi was in the same bandwagon, complaining and calling for Chebukati to resign. But now he seems to have changed his mind. And he's okay with Chebukati staying put. But also, Gatundu, Member of Parliament, yesterday they were in the same chat service with Mudavadi. First of all, were you surprised? And then he's also told ODM to stop with the complaining. For Korea, I can understand. He's consistent. But for Mudavadi, he's been calling.
When Musalia Mudavadi, a man that has been threatening the people of Kenya that he's going to run for president, tells us, the people of Kenya, tells us people believe in Raila Odinga, people believe in ODM, people believe in Jubilee, people believe in different parties in this country, that we should stop complaining about the commission that has said that they cannot hold free and fair elections in this country, that has said they are technically unprepared, that says that even electronic voting in this country, they do not trust those servers, Miriam, to deliver credible results.
All right.
In essence, Musalia Mudavadi, Moses Kuria, Chebukati, and others who are believing in the commission as it is today. This same man that leads the lawyer, Wafula Chebukati, who is the head of the Electoral Commission of the Republic of Kenya, has said that they need 40 billion to allow themselves have credible elections, but they have been able to be allocated 14 billion. This is essentially, Arroyo is telling us what we do not want to hear, that they are financially and technically unprepared to handle this election. ODM should complain, Douglas Bundi Keremi should complain, Miriam Ogutu should complain, and everyone should complain because this country belongs to all of us, Miriam. We cannot ban our own country because we have been told by Moses Kuria and Musalia Mudavadi, please shut your mouths and wait for bad elections to happen in 2022. It is not going to happen. We shall continue talking and talking.
All right, and talking. And
until this electoral, when this country is going to ban, and we cannot continue banning our own country because of a few people who are misguided. Thank you.
Very well. Douglas Kirimi, thank you so much. Samuel Savish and Jevan Karanja also had joined us earlier, but they suffered a bit of a technical hitch there, so they left the conversation a bit earlier. But I thank you, all of you, so much for your time. We'll be back here at 11 a.m. with more conversation. And I think, let me just get that topic for us so that we know what's coming up at 11 a.m. I think it will be under diplomatic leaks. Is Turkey, the country, fighting proxy wars here in Africa. My name is Miriam Ogoto. This has been Good Morning Africa. Good morning to you.